Welcome to the English Grammar and Writing Skills course of EduPorm EdTech. You're watching the video with Manisha Vedi, and the topic for the day is today we are going to read about the types of pronouns. Okay? Types of pronouns. In the previous video, I already talked about what are the different types of pronouns. In this video, we are basically going to talk about each and every types of pronouns with their examples and their definitions. Okay, so first of all, we do have personal pronouns. Personal pronouns. Okay, so what do you understand by personal pronouns? So whenever I am talking about personal pronouns, means I am using the term personal pronouns to denote a person. Denote a person. That means the name itself says, the personal pronoun itself says that I am talking about, I am denoting a person. I am talking about a person. Now, personal pronouns have basically three forms. Okay, there are three forms of personal pronouns. Now, what are those three forms? Those three forms are, the first form is first person, the second form is second person, and the third one is third person. Okay. Now, what do you understand by first person, second person, or third person? See, first person means like if I am talking about myself, like I, me, mine, or like we, or us, or us, or our. In all of these terms are basically considered to be as the first person. Means if I am talking about myself, I am referring to ourselves. In these all communities are considering, these all communities will be considered as in the form of first person. Okay. The second form is second person. And what is the second person? Second person means like if I am talking about you. Okay, if I am talking about you, or I am talking about her or him or his or he or she or it or its, these all are considered to be as the second person. Means like if I am talking to a person, if I am referring to a person or more than one person. Okay, like what it would be? It would be you, yours, his, her, him, it, its, or he, she. Okay, so use of you, yours, his, her, him, it, its, he, she, these all are basically considered as in form of the second person. These all are the forms of the second person. Means like if I'm talking to you, I'm referring to you, I'm teaching you guys. So this means that I am referring to the second person. If I would say that I am teaching, means I becomes the first person. If I am saying that you are listening to me, okay, or you are channeling this particular video, okay, so it would be like that. You means a second person. Okay. Then comes the third person. Third person means thoda sa aur dur, thoda sa aur distanced. The third person becomes like if I am talking about they, if I am saying them. Okay, if I am saying theirs, if I am saying their. Okay, so their, they, them, theirs, these all are considered to be as the third person. ठीक है, first person means पहले अपना, फिर दूसरे का, फिर और पराये का, या कह सकते हो और दूसरे का. ठीक है, तो सबसे पहले अपना, फिर थोड़ा सा दूसरे, तो that will be second person. Then comes the third person. तो दिस इज हाउ, यहाँ पे यू कैन सी दैट हाउ दे आर डिस्टेंसिंग देम. सबसे पहले खुद के बारे में बात करी, खुद के सारे अपना देख लिया, अपने परिवार का देख लिया, रिलेटिव्स का, अपने दोस्तों का, सबका देख लिया. फिर अब दूसरों को देखेंगे, फिर दूसरों के बाद और दूसरों को देखेंगे. ठीक है, तो दिस बिकम्स फर्स्ट पर्सन, सेकेंड पर्सन, थर्ड पर्सन. So these are the three forms of personal pronouns. Now we will read about the pronouns, the different pronouns used in different cases. Now what are those cases? Let's see. Okay, let's talk about the pronouns which are used in different cases, okay, or different cases of pronouns. Now what are they? Basically there are four kinds of cases which you'll read about. Okay, the first one is known as nominative or subjective case. Okay, the second one is known as objective case. The third one is possessive or adjective. The fourth one is possessive pronouns. Now these are the different uses, different versions of the persons, different versions or different cases of the pronouns used in these four cases. Okay, so whenever, like, if I am using the person, if the first person is used in the form of the subject, or it is nominated. Nomination means when you're talking about or referring to a subject. Okay, so if that particular person is considered to be as, if that particular person, or let's say pronoun, is considered to be in the form of subject, then they will be used, then there you are going to make use of nominative or subjective case. Now what is it? It is, let's start from I is a nominative or it is a subjective case. Okay, I is a nominative or subjective case. The objective case or I becomes me. The possessive adjective, like it will be my, this is my car. Okay, possessive pronouns becomes mine, like she is mine. So I, me, I is the subjective case, me is the objective case, my is the possessive adjective, mine is the possessive pronouns. So I, me, my, mine. Then comes we, us, our, ours. You, yours, yours. He, him, his. Okay. She, her, hers. Okay. It, its. Again, one, once, or one apostrophe s. Okay. Then comes who, whom, whose. So these are the different forms of pronouns used in different kinds of cases. Now we are going to read about some of the different scenarios of personal pronouns. Let's get through them one by one. Okay. Now let's talk about possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns. Okay. So what are possessive pronouns? Possessive pronouns are mainly used whenever you have to indicate towards any possession or ownership. Like you must have heard people talking to each other saying that this is ours home. Okay, or is this yours book? Is this yours? Like, let's say, for like if you're asking for a book, if you want to know that to whom that book belongs to, in that case you'll ask the person that is this yours? Okay, so again, whenever you're using words like yours, ours, or like she is mine or he is mine, okay, or this car is mine or anything like that, in that case, whenever you're using words like ours, yours, mine, okay, so ours, yours, or mine, or his, hers, or theirs. In all of these cases, these ours, yours, mine, his, hers, theirs are all known as possessive pronouns. So what does possessive pronouns do? Possessive pronouns basically indicates possession and ownership. Okay? Possessive pronouns basically indicates possession and ownership. Now, you have to remember one thing, and that is possessive pronouns do not make use of apostrophe s. Okay, so possessive pronouns do not make use of apostrophe s. You always have to remember this. Also, let's give you a tip, that is that I have already talked about this segment in use of noun, that apostrophe s is never used with the words which ends with s. Here ours, yours, okay, his, hers, theirs already have s at the end of them. Okay, so this is one tip that you'll have to remember, that after or if any words end with s, you do not make use of apostrophe s there. Okay, so this is one such tip. But in the case of mine, how you'll remember this? So you know that mine is a possessive pronoun, and again possessive pronoun will not make use of apostrophe s. Okay, it will be simply really wrong. Okay, now let's say for example the bear had a ring on its nose. Okay, or if I say that the bear had a ring on its nose. Now out of these sentences, if you see that both of the sentences are trying to conclude or trying to say about same thing. Okay, they are trying to say the same thing, but what is the main difference between the two? So if I read out the sentence to you, the sentence says the bear had a ring on its nose. Here its has been written in the normal form, but in the second sentence it has been written in the apostrophe form. So you have to remember that I have already said the word that possessive pronouns do not make use of apostrophe s. So the first one is the correct form and the second one is the incorrect form. Why? Because here they have written it's in the form of apostrophe s. It has apostrophe s, which is not allowed in case of possessive pronouns. Now let's talk about reflexive pronouns. It is the third type of pronoun. The third type of pronoun is the reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns. Okay. Now what are reflexive pronouns? Reflexive pronouns are like, let's say for example, whenever a sentence ends with words like self, okay, or selves. Now these are basically considered as reflexive pronouns. Okay, like say for example, if I'm saying ourselves or do it by yourself, okay, or myself, or oneself, okay, oneself, ourselves, yourself, myself, or himself, or herself, themselves, or yourselves. Now you have to just remember one thing, that is that the difference between self and selves. Self is obviously used whenever you're talking about, whenever you're indicating towards one person, okay, or one people, anything which is just subjected to one. But whenever you are indicating towards anything, let's say of anything, like an object or a person or a thing or animal, anything, but it is more than one in number, in that case you're going to use selves. So simply self is the singular form and selves is the plural form. Okay, now let's take an example. He hid himself in the room, okay, or he hid in the room. Now which one of them will be the correct form? Which one of them will be the correct form? This might be real confusing to you, that he hid in his room, okay, or he hid himself in the room. Both of the sentences might sound correct to you, or one of them might sound incorrect to you. But before solving and before choosing out the correct form between the two, I'm going to explain one more rule to you. Now what does the rule say? The rule says that reflexive pronouns, okay, reflexive pronouns are never used with verbs like keep, okay, like when you're talking about keep, stop, hide, rest, turn, qualify, bathe, move, etc. Okay, so in all of these cases, whenever you are using verbs like keep or stop or hide or rest or turn or qualify or bathe or move, in all of these cases you do not make use of reflexive pronouns. Now coming to the question again, the first example or first question says that he hide himself in the room, and the second one says that he hide in the room. So which one of them will be the correct form? The correct form will be the second one. Why? Because we already talked that reflexive pronouns are never used with these kinds of verbs. Okay, so here they have made use of hide, so this will be the incorrect form and this one will be the correct one. Now let's talk about the third form. Sorry, I guess this one is the fourth one. Okay, first was personal, second was possessive, third was reflexive, and the fourth one is reciprocal pronoun. Now what do you mean by reciprocal pronoun? Reciprocal pronoun means when each of two or more subjects is acting in the same way towards the other. Okay, so when two or more subjects is acting in the same way towards the other. Okay, for example, when you make use of words like one another, okay, or each other. Okay, so one another, each other, if you see these, then they are basically acting in the same way towards the other. Each other, let's say for example, they love each other. Okay, they love each other. So basically they love each other means we are talking about two or more subjects, and two or more subjects are acting in the same way towards the other. Means if they love the other person also tends to love them. Okay, so these are basically considered as reciprocal pronouns. The next one is distributive pronouns. Distributive pronouns. Now what are distributive pronouns? Distributive pronouns considers members of a group separately rather than collectively. Okay, so distributive pronouns, what are distributive pronouns? Distributive pronouns considers members of a group. Okay, members of a group separately rather than collectively. Like when you're talking about a group, they will consider the group separately instead of talking about them collectively. Okay, let's say for example, each or any or either or neither, every, none, okay, etc. So like if you say like each or any or either or neither, every, none, means maybe you are referring towards a group, but you are indicating towards each member of the group, and also you are indicating towards each member of the group separately. Okay, you could have talked about them collectively, but no, you are pointing a finger. Okay, you are pointing out your finger towards one of them, so towards each of them. Okay, so these are the examples. Let's talk about some of the examples, some of the rules and some of the uses. Okay, let's say for example, when you're talking about either. Okay, so either is used. When will be the either? When is either used? Either is used when a choice has to be made out of any two objects. Okay, so remember this, that either, because most of you might get confused between the use of either or neither. Okay, so let me explain this to you, that either is used whenever you're making choice between any of the two objects. Okay, let's say for example, either you go to school, or get back to study. Means in any case you cannot be happy. Okay, either you have to go to the school or either you have to get back to the study. So yeah, this happens. So either or is, either is always used with or, and either is used when a choice has to be made out of any two objects. Here you have been given two options, that either you go to school or get back to study. So this is the first option and this is the second option. So whenever the choice has to be made of any of two objects, in that case the use of either is done. Okay, and either and or is used consecutively. Now let's talk about the next use. The next use is that we are going to talk about neither. Now when is this used? So neither is used when no choice, it is the opposite of it. Although it always have n, it starts with n. So n means no choice. No choice between two objects. Okay. Earlier we were talking about making a choice between any of the two objects. Here we are talking about whenever there is no choice to be made between the objects. In that case, we make use of neither. Let's say for example, neither he goes to school nor he would study. Okay. So here it is, neither he goes to school, means ना ही वो स्कूल जाता है ना ही वो पढ़ता है, बड़े परेशान हैं हम. ठीक है. So neither he goes to school nor he would study, means if you see this sentence, if you see this example, you understand that neither means whenever there is no choice to be made between any of the two objects. Okay, and neither is used with nor. Neither and nor are used consecutively. Okay, they are used together, and both of neither basically expresses no choice. Okay, now there's some more examples, like choose anyone. You must have heard this like all of your life, most of your life, like choose anyone out of 4 options. While attempting or taking your examinations, you must have heard this kind of sentences. You must have read this kind of sentences that says that choose anyone out of 4 options. Okay. Now, I already talked about the use of either, neither. Now I will talk about the use of none. So when is this none used? None is used when, again it starts with n. That means we are indicating towards no choice. But when no choice is made between more than 2 objects. So this is one catch you'll have to remember, that whenever you are indicating towards only 2 objects, in that case you are going to use neither. And what is the tip to remember this? That I have already told that neither and nor are used together. Okay, neither and nor is used together, sorry. So in both of these cases, you see that neither and nor is used together. That means both of these, neither can be used with one option and nor can be used with another option. So already you have only 2 options, means whenever you're talking about any 2 objects. But whenever you're talking about none, like whenever you are given like more than 4 options or 4 or 5 or 6 options, and then there an option is given, that option says that none of the above. Okay, or none of them. Now in this case it means that they are asking you to choose out any correct answer, choose out the correct answer from more than 4 options or out of 4 options. So if you see that none is used when there is no choice to be made between more than 2 objects. Okay, like already I have talked about the example none of the above when you come across 2 questions. Or I can also say, let's say for example, if I say that I'm complaining about and I'm really disheartened, okay, and that is why I'm saying that none of them helped me out. None of them helped me out. So this is one sentence where I'm saying where I was expecting help from all of them, from any of them, but no one of them stepped towards me. None of them, okay, none of them took stand for me. So in that case I would say that none of them helped me out. Means again, when I'm talking about no choice between more than 2 objects. Now let's talk about demonstrative pronoun. The next pronoun is demonstrative pronoun. Okay, now what is demonstrative pronoun? Demonstrative pronoun means these are basically used to point out any object, person or thing. Now how to remember this? The word itself says demonstrative, means you are demonstrating something, you are pointing out, like demonstration or diagram, like you might have used this word, no? So demonstrative basically means whenever you are pointing out any object or person or thing, in that case demonstrative pronoun is used. Like when you make use of words like this, that, these, okay, those, these, that, those, such, or the same, okay, etc. So this, that, these, those, such, the same. So here what you are trying to do is that you are actually pointing out towards any object, person or thing. Now before adding up another thing, I will actually want to explain you the difference between this and that. When is this used and when is that used, or when is these used and when is those used. So this is used whenever you're talking about and whenever you're indicating towards any near object, okay, and that is used whenever you are talking about or indicating towards any far object, okay. Like if I say this is my book, okay, this is my book, means that book is nearer to me, so that is why I'm saying that this is my book, okay, that book is close to me, or I'm holding the book, then I'm saying that this is my book. But if someone else is holding my book and the person is at distance the person is at distance from me, then in that case I'm going to say this, that is my book, okay, that is my book, what are you doing with my book, give my book back, okay. So this is basically used whenever you have to indicate towards near object, and that is used when you are indicating towards any far object, okay. And again, this, the plural form of this is these, and the plural form of that is those, like those are mine, or these are mine. So these are mine or those are mine. In both of the cases, these and those, both of them indicate towards plural form, but these will be used whenever you're talking about the near object, and that will be used whenever you're talking about far object, okay. Let's consider one more thing, that is to avoid the use of singular countable noun in a sentence. One is always used in the plural form, that is ones, okay. These ones are mine, okay. So one is, always remember one thing, that to avoid the use of singular countable noun in a sentence, the one is used, and for plural form ones is used. So whenever you are indicating towards, like, this one is my book, so again when you are indicating towards singular form you'll use one, and when you are indicating towards these, when you're using words like these are my book, so these ones are mine. Okay, so in that case, so ones is a plural form, so it will be ones will be used with these or those, and one will be used with this or that, because one is a singular form. So singular will obviously be used with singular ones. Now let's talk about the another form of pronoun, that is relative pronoun. Now what do you mean by relative pronoun? Relative pronoun. Now what is relative pronoun? This basically helps in connection or conjoining, okay, of two sentences. Means whenever you are joining, whenever you are trying to connect two sentences, okay, to connect or conjoin two sentences. Okay, let's say for example who or which or whose or that or when. Okay, like if I say that my father gave me everything that I needed. Okay, so my father gave me everything that I needed. If you watch out this sentence, you'll understand that these sentences, that these two things are, this is one part of the sentence and this is the another part of the sentence, and both are being joined with the help of relative pronoun, that is that. So my father gave me everything that I needed. Okay, now let's talk about some of the uses. The first use says that if all is used to denote people, then let's say for example if all is being used to denote people, okay, then who will be used? Then who will be used to complete the sentence. Okay, let's say for example all means I'm indicating towards the people. Now all who are interested, now this is the way of writing this. Okay, all who are interested in playing basketball should register. So if you watch out this sentence, you'll understand that the all is being used to denote people and the use of who is to complete the sentence. Okay, so all who are interested in playing basketball should register. Okay, now let's talk about the second use. The second use says that if all is being used to denote a particular or to denote any object, then that will be used instead of who. Means remember these things, that when all is used to denote people, means obviously you are denoting or you are talking about more than one object. Okay, so in that case all is used with who. Okay, who will be used with all. But in another case, when all is trying to denote any particular object, in that case that is used instead of who. Okay, so let's say for example all that glitters is not gold. Means here we are trying to denote a particular object and say that all that glitters, जो कुछ भी चमकता है जरूरी नहीं कि वो सोना हो. Okay, Now the third one is that is used. Remember this thing, that is used after everything, nothing, or the only, all, everyone, none, nobody, okay, nobody, or some of, much, little, the few. Okay, so always remember one thing, that is used after words like everything, nothing, the only, all, or everyone, none, nobody, some of, much, little, the few, or the little. Okay, so in all of these cases, that is used after use of these words. Like I already stated one example when I said that my father has given me everything. When I stated that my father has given me everything that I needed. Okay, so my father has given me everything that I needed. So if you watch out this sentence, you'll understand that is being used after, that is being used after everything, after use of everything. So always remember these things, that will be used after everything, nothing, only, all, everyone, none, nobody, some of, much, little, the few, or the little. Okay, let's talk about the next form of pronoun, that is indefinite pronoun. Okay, now what does indefinite pronoun means? Indefinite pronoun means, already the word suggests that indefinite means when you are not referring towards any specific person or place or person or thing. So indefinite pronoun does not refers to specific person, place, thing, or object. Okay, does not refers to specific person, thing, or object. Now let's say for example everybody, somebody, nobody, or anybody, or someone, or no one, or everything, something, nothing, okay, anything, all, some, few, much, little, another. So if you watch out these words, you'll understand that each and every words used here do not refers towards any specific person, place, animal, place, thing, or animal, or anything like that. Like you should take help of someone. Here I am asking you to take help, but I'm not specifying the name. I'm not specifying the name of the person or anyone. Okay, I'm just saying that you should take. I'm just suggesting that you should take help of someone. That is up to you. That whom you choose, or whom you let you help you. Okay, now everything, like I have everything. Here I'm not specifying that what are the things I have or what are the things I possess or own, but I'm saying that I have everything. Okay, or again when I'm saying that somebody knows you, there must be someone. Okay, there must be someone. Okay, or there must be somebody who must know you. again I'm not specifying here. So these are the basic pronouns which are used whenever you are not referring towards any specific person, place, thing or object. Okay, now let's talk about the next pronoun, that is interrogative pronoun. You must have heard about the word interrogative pronoun. Okay, this is a very common type of pronoun. Interrogative means question. So whenever the pronouns which are used in whenever you're asking questions from anyone, okay, or these are the pronouns which tends to end with question mark, like what happened to you, okay, or what are you doing, or who saw the accident. Okay, so in all of these kinds, if you see that these are basically used into like interrogation type, like whenever you're interrogating about anything. Okay, like when I'm asking you that what happened to you, means I'm trying to interrogate you, I'm trying to ask you, because here I want to know the reason. That is why I'm asking to you that what happened to you and what are you doing, means again I want you to refer to me, I want you to let me know that whatever you are doing. So, okay, so all of these cases basically indicates interrogative pronouns. Now see, interrogative pronouns are used to ask questions. Okay, interrogative pronouns are used to ask questions. For example, who, which, whose, whom, what, when, whatever, whichever, whatsoever, whichsoever. Okay, so in all of these cases, if you see that these words are basically used to ask the questions. Okay, let's talk about some of the rule. Like who, if I talk about who, then who is basically used to denote or to indicate a person, okay, or people. Okay, to denote a person or people. In these cases we make use of who, like who saw the accident, who saw the accident. Or if I say that who are you, who are you. Okay, now let's see the second use. The first use is who is used to denote a person or people. Now next one is which. Now the which is used for two things. Like when you're talking about or when you're indicating towards a person or an object. In both of these cases you make use of which. And which is basically done when you have to make selection or when you have to make choice. Okay, so in any of these cases you make use of which. Like which one of you will come to school, which one of you will come to school tomorrow, or which one of you have completed their homework. Okay, or which one of you had the problem, or which one of you come for checkup, which one of you went for the checkup. Let's say for them, which one of you went for the checkup. Okay, so all of these cases, if you see, like let me write out some of the examples, like which one of you will go to school. Like let's say I'm a teacher, I'm teaching in that particular school. Then in that case, if I'm asking to my student, I'll say that which one of you will come to school tomorrow. Okay, or which one of you now when I'm asking this and you are not in the mood of coming to school, then I'm asking you that which one of you had the problem now. So again, if you see these two sentences, like which one of you will come to school tomorrow and which one of you had the problem, so you will understand that the use of which is done whenever you have to make choice between the two. Here when I am asking which one of you, then here you have to make choice. You will make choice, and the one who had the problem will step forward, or the one who will come to school tomorrow will step forward. So it is used, which is used with both the two things. It is used with both the person and the object. Okay, and this is basically used to make any selection or to make any choice. Now let's talk about the third use. The third use is whom. Now when is whom used? Whom is used after a preposition. Remember these things, that whom is used after a preposition. Okay, now for example, by whom are you taught English? This is a form of passive voice, right? We already have talked about these type of examples in passive voice. So again, if you see this sentence, you will understand that here whom is being used after preposition. What is by? By is a preposition. So always remember this thing, that whom is used after a preposition. But if the preposition is used at the end of the sentence, in this case you will understand, you will see that preposition has been used at the starting, at the initial of the sentence. The sentence starts from the preposition. But in cases like if a sentence is used, if a sentence has preposition, has a preposition at its end, at its end, in that case who is used. Okay, who is used instead of whom. Let's take one example. This was example number 1. This is example number 2. Okay, so whom is, although whom is always used after a preposition, but if a sentence has a preposition at its end, in that case you substitute whom by who. Okay, let's say for example, who was oh God. Who was the boy taught by Mr. Das? So if you observe this sentence, you will understand that the use of preposition, the preposition has been used here at the end of the sentence. So in this case, who will be used instead of whom. And when will be the whom used? If you are making use of whom, always remember that whom will always come after the preposition, and the sentence should contain preposition at the starting of it. Okay, or it should be at the initial. In that case is only whom will be used. Let's talk about the last type of pronoun. The last one is emphasizing pronoun. Okay, the last one is emphasizing pronoun. Now what is emphasizing pronoun? Emphasizing pronoun means when you are emphasizing on the subject of any sentence. When you are emphasizing on the subject of any sentence. Okay, let's say for example, myself, oneself, yourselves, herself, himself, themselves, okay, or itself. In all of these cases, in all of these cases, if you'll notice, you'll see that they are myself, oneself, yourselves, or herself, himself. All of these words are emphasizing on the subject of any particular sentence. Like he would definitely hurt himself. He would definitely hurt himself. Now basically what you're trying to do is, in this sentence if you'll notice, you'll understand that here they are basically emphasizing, he would definitely hurt himself means they are basically emphasizing on the subject of this sentence. And what is the subject of this sentence? The subject is he. Okay, he is the subject here. So he would definitely hurt himself. Whenever you're emphasizing on the subject of any sentence, these are pronouns which are used to emphasize on the subject of any sentence. Let's consider another example, like you yourself. So you yourself is responsible for your problem. Okay, this example is really serious. Here what we are doing is, I am emphasizing on the subject. The subject is you. I am referring to you. I am saying that you yourself is responsible for your problem. Okay, so again in this sentence too, I am emphasizing on the subject of the sentence. And which is the subject here? The subject is you. Okay, so I am emphasizing on you. I am referring to you. I am saying that you yourself is responsible for your problem. So I hope the video is clear to you. I hope the types of pronouns is clear to you. In the next video, we are going to solve some of the practice questions, to practice some of the questions related to the pronouns.